Kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live on day 103. It was on, jeepers, I can't even remember when, October 3rd, I think it was. I think it was October 3rd, when I first arrived in Arizona. Today it is November 11th, Veterans Day. So first of all, thank you to all the veterans who have served and who are currently serving. It is because of you that we live in the land of the free. And my hat's off to you guys. I am all about military and first responders and all of that. So you guys have my full support, and I thank you for your service and for what you've done for this country and keeping us free. So thank you. Okay, so back to what I was saying. It was, I believe, October 3rd when I arrived at River Breeze in God, what day did I get here? No, actually it was October 7th. I'm just having a quick look at my calendar here. October 7th was my first day in Arizona when I arrived here at River Breeze, which is where I am today. So it seems fitting that my last night in Arizona is again at River Breeze, now on the 11th of November. So it has been quite a journey in Arizona. I have loved every minute of it. To be here in Sparkles, there were days I didn't leave the campgrounds. I was just happy to write, to read, to reflect, to do work. I got a lot of work done. I had a very productive trip. Even though some people would probably think, oh yeah, you're just on vacation. No. This is my lifestyle now. This is me. I travel. I make time for work. You can see my project board is up on the wall behind, on my mirror behind my wall behind me. On my mirror behind me, there's my project boards. Each post-it represents one step in a project to be done. I'm still trying to figure out the last 6 squares for my bingo board. We will get that done. By when? I don't know. But it has been awesome. We have done things like seen the most gorgeous sunsets. There have been amazing sunsets. I don't think I ever made it up for a sunrise. The temperatures here in Arizona was so much cooler that I actually slept a little later. But then again, most of the nights I wasn't going to bed till 12, 1:30. There was a couple of nights when at 2:30. And then, of course, I was waking up around 7. I normally wake between 5 and 6 in the morning. I was actually sleeping until 7 o'clock. Although yesterday it was till 8:30. Or was it 9 o'clock? 8:30. I had a really good sleep in yesterday. Today I was wide awake it was 8 o'clock, but I didn't go to sleep till like 2:30. It's the problem with your Kindle. My Kindle is on California time. So once we went out at daylight savings, of course, Arizona now fell back into mountain time again and was on a different time zone to California. And my Kindle switched, but my body clock did not. So I'm looking at my Kindle going, oh yeah, it's 11:30. And then my mind will go, no, hang on. We're in Arizona. It's 12:30. I was like, damn it, I did it again. And even my laptop confuses me. That's sitting on Pacific time as well, because I have this program on there that confuses people who don't actually know where I am, which is nice. But yeah, so it's stuck on Pacific time, which is fine. So I kind of look at it there. It says 8 o'clock there. It says 9 o'clock up there on the microwave. And so yep, but it has been an incredible time. The scenery here in Arizona is just unbelievable. I didn't get as far north as the 40 up to Flagstaff, Winslow, Grand Canyon. Did not get up that far because I heard they get snow up there, and I didn't want to get caught in that, especially being in an RV that is not equipped for those sort of temperatures. So the furthest north I got was Verde Valley, which is about 30 to 40 minutes south of Sedona and about 15 minutes from Cottonwood. It was off the I-7, go down the I-17, and then it was off to the side there somewhere on the, I don't even remember what route I took. But I had a great time. I got, my time in Verde Valley was solely, the only reason I chose that was because I knew I didn't have a vehicle to get anywhere except for if I unplugged my RV, broke down the RV, packed it all up, went off, did some stuff with it, and then came back and set it all back up again. Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. So I purposely made that time in Verde Valley writing time. I got the most writing done I have ever done in a long time. It was good. It got me right back into writing again. My plot summaries were just flowing, and then I had one plot summary all plotted out and everything else, and then all of a sudden another idea hit me, and I was like, damn, there's a second plot. alternative. So then I wrote all about that. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my gosh, we could do this. Get out the pen and the paper and start writing again. And so I ended up with 3 different plot summaries. And then when I finally got back to where I had internet connection, I was doing all my research on Ketchikan. I found out that my plot summaries wouldn't work because it was all based around Russians, and there were no Russians in Ketchikan at the time. So now we have to rethink that whole thing. So doing some more research on that. But it was good because I got a lot of writing done. I got some outlines for some blogs written. In fact, one night I was sitting down, I thought I'm just going to create 1-sentence memes that I could use that are all travel tips. And so I wrote out the first travel tip, and then like 20 minutes later I had a blog written. And it's been that way the whole time. So now it's sort of like going back, cleaning them all up, and then I can start publishing them. So it's been a very productive time as far as writing goes, which I have absolutely loved that time. I really do enjoy writing. I've got a lot of reading done. I have read so much on this thing. Yet at the same time, I have got a ton of work done for my clients. So it's been, Arizona has been very good as far as getting focused on things goes. It's been a journey, not just here to Arizona to explore and go sightseeing and stuff, but it's also been a journey for me internally on finding my passion again, getting back into the groove of things. I loved going to Old Tucson Studios there and hearing about all the different movies westerns that have been filmed there, the TV shows and stuff. Watching the stuntman show, that was just amazing. I mean, they were showing you how they did some of the stunts, which was really cool. So I got to do that and got to see the guys ribbing people as they're walking in, and I have to give my hats off to all of those who live in Arizona that know what a Kiwi looks like. It was amazing the number of times I went, because I always had Casey Kiwi in my backpack, my day back, my handbag / backpack, and people would always ask me, why do you have a Kiwi in your bag? Oh, you've got a Kiwi in your bag. Nobody, and the number of people whenever I'm usually traveling with Casey Kiwi, ask me why I have a duck or a platypus in my bag. I kid you not. People are asking why I have a duck or a platypus. Seriously, have you ever seen a duck with a beak like this? Have you ever seen a platypus's beak? Queen Victoria had her scientists evaluate a platypus when the Australians sent one over to her because she thought they had sewn a duck bill onto, was it a rat or a ferret or something like that? So she had them examine this platypus thing. So it just amazed me that if people didn't know, they asked. They said, oh, what's that you've got in your backpack? I said, it's a Kiwi. Oh, that's what a Kiwi looks like. And some other people were like, why do you have a Kiwi in your bag? And so it was really cool. So Old Tucson Studios, the first time when I walked in with the stuntman there, I had my little shopping bag with my books in it, and this guy, and one of the stuntmen turns around and says, oh, you better be careful of that, people can see what's in your handbag. And I looked down and I said, that's not my handbag. I said, this is the one you got to watch. And turned like that, and he goes, oh my gosh, you've got a Kiwi in your bag. And of course he's on microphone, so anybody who's sitting in the thing, unfortunately there wasn't that many people there at the time, so we had a conversation about Kiwis, and then watched a really great show. So that was awesome. Learned a little bit more about the West and about Golden Gate Mountain, which you see in a lot of the backdrops of anything that's filmed there at Old Tucson Studios. It is still currently used for filming as well. Got to go to Tombstone, Arizona, and learn more about the gunfight at the OK Corona. It's a little 30-second gunfight that became this major milestone in history. It was very interesting to learn more about that. I'm still not 100% clear on everything, so I'm still researching it. But I had a great time there anyway, and learned a lot about the Tombstone area and why it's called the town that never dies. 2 major fires that within a year that wiped out half the town, and a month later they're rebuilt and they're back in business type of thing. It just doesn't die. Got to go to the Pima Air and Space Museum there in Tucson as well. You can tell I did a lot in Tucson. Absolutely loved that. I love my warbirds. I love my jets. I'm reading, where is it? I am still plowing my way through this book. Getting there, plowing my way through, and answering the book club, because this is the book club. This is what our book club's reading at the moment, is Red Metal. We're all online for our book club. And they talk about the A10 Thunderbird, otherwise known as a warthog, and they actually had one on display. So I was able to take a picture of it, post it into into the group there to say, hey, I found this at the museum. And then as the day I was leaving Tucson, I look up in the air and there goes one taking off from the Air Force Base. So I got to see one flying around, which was really cool. Then went back to Mesa. Mesa Spirit there, a lot more people there this time because all the snowbirds have arrived or are still arriving. The number of people said, oh my gosh, you're back, when did you get in? There was a lot of all of that going on. And I just sat back and just watched. Great people watching in RV parks, I tell you. You get to see all sorts of people from all walks of life. Friendliest bunch of people ever. I got talking to one in Tucson about mail forwarding places, what to look for and all of that sort of thing, because I'm looking at moving from my mailboxes that I have to a mail forwarding place where they will send me my mail, although they will send me out the outside of the envelopes and I'll tell them which ones I want and which ones they can shred. So doing more research on that. So sometime in November and December, January, I'll start that service up. So it was good to be able to talk to somebody who actually uses it and find out more about that. Got to help people figure out how to download an app and use it to start the washing machines and the dryers because they no longer take quarters. that was an experience, but also an eye-opener as well. You're in a 55+ community and you're expecting some of these people who just have flip phones with the big buttons on it, you're expecting them to download an app when they can't. So having to explain to them, if you don't have a smartphone, then this is how you operate the machines with a credit card. And then I'm not going to use my credit. I don't use my credit card when I'm down here. So all sorts of, but there were some amazing conversations down there, and just people watching is just awesome. Gives you lots of inspiration. Got some more writing done there as well. Got to organize my RV a little more. Still got a long way to go with some of the organization stuff. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I'm starting to figure out where I want things. After 6 months, I've finally figured out where I want things, what things I am looking at replacing, because I do want to redecorate, because at the moment, as you can see behind me, I've got bland on bland on bland. Even the, see? Bland on bland on bland on bland. It's all that color around the whole RV, with the exception of my, hang on, I have the other half of it, of my lovely burgundy drape, which is a blackout curtain over my recliner, which looks amazing, surrounded by the bland. If you don't know what that looks like, go check out my Facebook page. Then last week I joined up with, I've got a couple of friends who are involved with Polka Dot Powerhouse, and it's a women's networking thing that has chapters all across the States, but they also have a worldwide chapter, which is online. And as somebody who is moving around a lot, because that's always been my concern, I want to get back into networking and join networking groups and that again, but I'm not in one fixed location. So, and talking to a friend of mine who's involved with Polka Dots, I said to her, what do I do? She says, oh, we have an online community. It's not a problem. She says, we have online meetings for those that are worldwide, because we have people in countries where we don't have Polka Dot chapters, so they belong to our worldwide membership, and then you can go to any. If you're, she says, when you're traveling, if you're in a town where there happens to be a chapter meeting on while you're there, you can go along to that chapter meeting. It's not a problem. And I'm like, so sign me up. So I did sign up with that. Today I finally got around to doing my introduction within the group, and these people they're just amazing. And I already have, I think it's 5 meetings set up over the next couple of weeks to get to know some of the members and how I can best serve them, and learn more about what they do, because it's all about connecting with people. We're more the relationship side of things. The business comes later. So find out who they are first before we bring the business into it. So I'm looking forward to those meetings and getting back into the networking side of it again as well. And I'm also going to be, when I'm planning my trip, my next big trip is going to start end of January, beginning of February, where I'm going to start my trek from California to Florida, because I have to be there by the first weekend in March for a convention. And then I'm going to start meandering my after I see some people in Orlando and just outside Orlando, get to see my mates Tony and Brett, which I am so looking forward to that, because I haven't seen them since before Brad passed. In fact, the last time we were together, the 4 of us were together, so it's going to be kind of weird seeing them without Brad. But he was their CP dad, I'm their CP mum, and CP's for cruise planners. So because we introduced them to cruise planners, so they've called us their CP mum and dad. So I get to see my CP sons, and I'm looking forward to that. And then haven't worked out the return route yet. I've got to go figure out who I'm going to go see, and it's going to be a lot dependent on weather at that time of the year, since it's going to be March, April. I want to get away from the East Coast before the humidity starts getting in, because I can't stand humidity. And I want to get out of there before hurricane season starts. But I want to get into those areas after the snow's stopped. So yeah, so if you're looking for somebody, if you're available sometime in March, April, send me a note and let me know what the weather's like in your area, so I know that I can swing by there. I haven't figured out. I'm going to go across the 10 most of the way, but I hear the 10 in Louisiana is really, really bad. And people have talked about damage just driving on the 10 that they've gotten in their RV, and I don't want to risk sparkles. So I'm going to divert probably up to the 20 and go that way where it's a lot smoother while I'm going through Louisiana, and then drop back down to the 10 again to get back into Florida. So that's the plan. That's my next big trip. Oh, and then back in Mesa, I went up to Apache Junction, to Goldfield, which is the ghost town up there. Had a blast up there. Didn't go and do any of the tours or anything. I just walked from building to building and just went inside to see what was there and turned around and walked back out. If they charged me to go any further, I turned around and walked back out again. Did some Christmas shopping while I was there, so I can't tell you what I bought because that would give it away. And I don't know if any of the kids are watching, so don't want them to see what they're getting or know in advance. But I have just had a blast. I really can't wait to get back to California to catch up with family again. I'm so looking forward to catching up with the kids, the grandkids, seeing what's happening, catching up with friends. It's going to be awesome. I've got Networking Riches coming up on the 23rd and the 24th in LA, so I'm going to be up there for that. And if you want to join me there in person or online, because you're able to live stream it on as well, Casey does a phenomenal job. The Networking Riches is just, it's out of this world. Every time and I've been to most of them. I've been to a good portion that he's had over the last 5 or 6 years he's been doing these, and he does them several times. He does them several times a year. So I've only missed like maybe 2 or 3. But every time I watch, I learn something new. And then the second day, and you can't go to the second day unless you do the first day, and the second day is all masterminding, which is just, it gives me goosebumps. I end the day with absolutely exhausted, but a huge smile on my face, because some people have made major breakthroughs in their businesses just from the 20 minutes they've spent on the hot seat, and or they've heard something else happen while somebody else has been on the hot seat that they can apply to their business, and it's sort of like a big aha moment. And I just love watching those reactions in the room or people online. It's just it's very rewarding to see that happen. And I've had my own breakthroughs and stuff just watching other people getting their breakthroughs as well, or hearing some other nuggets that Casey, because Casey's always dropping nuggets. It's just like this big gold mine, and he's just throwing those gold nuggets out there. So if you want to come to Networking Riches, either in person in LA on the 23rd, 24th, or you can join the live stream where you can actually actively participate. The link is in the description for this. So click on that and you'll be able to get your tickets. It's $47 for the whole weekend. That's it. $47 for the weekend, for 2 days. But the information you're going to get is going to be worth so much more to your business. And I'm so glad that I just did Networking Riches in Colorado Springs. He did that last month. And I did that one online, but I'm going to be in person in LA right there. And getting back into a networking group again, like Polka Dots, is going to be awesome, because the timing is it's just like boom, 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 boom. Everything is starting to fall into place. So yeah, so it's going to be good. So, wow, that's my, oh, hang on, one sec. Can't forget the biggest bit. It's a problem when you're on this thing, everything's back to front. Of course, I got my hat. I haven't got my boots yet. I'm going to wait until I've released some more weight, because then my calf muscles will go smaller and I'll be able to get into boots better. Ankle's doing great too, by the way. And I'm still on the outlook for a hat for Casey. But anyway, so that's my farewell from Arizona. And now onto James Bond really quick. So Man with the Golden Gun was our one for last night. I am really enjoying, the thing that I've enjoyed most about this trip is that it's helping me get into routines. And I have now set myself a goal. Here is my to-do list for the day. If I finish it, I get to watch a movie that night. And for the month of November, for those that are following, I am watching James Bond in order. So last night was Man with the Golden Gun, and then at the end of each DVD, and I have them all on DVD, the end of each DVD, there's a special features area, and the special features area always includes a making of that movie. So you pick up lots of great little tidbits and how they did this, how they did that, and so Man with the Golden Gun came out in 1965, was an instant bestseller, the book. Worldwide, it was a worldwide bestseller. They brought back Guy Hamilton again to do Golden Gun, and even though the book was set in Jamaica, they had just finished filming in Jamaica with Live and Let Die, so they needed a new location. So they looked at Iran, Beirut, Vietnam, and of course this was 1970. Oh, jeepers, when did they release this one? Oh my gosh, I totally did not write that down. They gave me all the dates and everything. 1973. So this was 1973, and one of the countries I looked at was Vietnam. That's what it was. And I wrote here in 60s, and that was the 70s. Head was stuck in the 60s last night. So they looked at Iran, Beirut, Vietnam, but then they looked at Thailand and Hong Kong, and that's where they came up with setting the scenes in those areas. They actually started filming in Hong Kong, like filming the Queen Mary that's on its side in Hong Kong, in the harbour there in Hong Kong, because Roger Moore wasn't available to start shooting until April of 74. So in 73, they started doing a lot of the other scenes and things. They originally wanted Jack Palance for Scaramanga, who's the bad guy in the thing, and they ended up with Christopher Lee. Now, if you remember from last night, if you were watching last night, I mentioned that the guy that they wanted originally to play Dr. No was the cousin of either Broccoli or Saltzman, but I couldn't remember which one, and he was one that ended up playing Scaramanga. Got that a little mixed up. Christopher Lee is actually the cousin of Ian Fleming, and they were always in contact. They'd go play golf together. In fact, in the interview, Christopher Lee said that him and Ian Fleming were played golf like 2 weeks before Ian Fleming passed away. So they ended up using Christopher Lee for Scaramanga, which was awesome. He's amazing in that role. I also found out too, he has a photographic memory, so he could actually he was actually able to pick up languages. And they had 2 girls from Sweden that were playing the roles for the 2 Bond girls. Well, Scaramanga's love interest, who he kills, and then the one that played Goodnight. And so he was actually able to converse with them in their own language, which was I thought was kind of cool. And then somebody else who was speaking to in French, and Roger Moore said, you turn around and just be speaking to somebody else in some other language. He just had this memory. And they brought back Sheriff J.W. Pepper from Live and Let Die. They brought him back, and he basically got a phone call and said, go to Macy's, buy the loudest shirts you can find, and then get on a plane and come to Bangkok. And he went, okay. And so he went into Macy's. He found 5 loud shirts, bought them, hopped on a plane, went to Bangkok. And so his character was able to was on vacation in Bangkok at the same time as James Bond was there, and they actually team up, and it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest James Bond movies I've seen, and I just love Sheriff Pepper. He's just absolutely hilarious in this. I'm the sheriff, I'm going to take charge here, but you're that secret spy guy. And it also has one of the best car stunts ever. It has the car takes off on this angle and flips over in the air and lands on, it does this corkscrew. And they had on June the 1st, 74, they taped the stunt. They had everything lined up for it. They had cranes on standby. They had divers underneath with the cable and hook in their hands. They had paramedics on standby. So if this car went in the water, they said it would be quicker to get the car out of the water with the people in it than trying to get the people out of the car and then get them out of the water. So they were all on standby. The stunt driver gets in there and hits it perfectly, nails it perfectly. And in fact, they said it looked too perfect. But the driver said, I'm not doing that again. He said, that's the first time I've ever done that. I am not doing it again. So they had to go with the first take. And then they were talking about some of the hotels they used to stay in, because they said, normally when you're on a James Bond movie, you get these beautiful hotels and everybody's there to cater to you and it's gorgeous and everything else. And then they got this place in near Phuket, and they didn't find out till later on that it actually used to be a brothel. So that'll give you some idea of the standard that they were in at that time. But they said it was very interesting. And then they got to the Dragon Garden Estate in Hong Kong, and where they used it as the guy Fat's one of the bad guys' places and that sort of stuff. And they have the scene with a kickboxing, and of course it's a real kickboxing match going on at the time. And they just kind of corner off this little piece to do their little thing, and they've got the whole crowd going on behind it and everything else watching this actual match and everything else. And then this is the movie that has one of the cameramen fell so ill that he wasn't able to continue filming, so they brought in another camera guy, and they said, this is going to be on a really, really tight schedule. You have from here to film, and we've got no room. And basically they didn't have a day off. They were just filming every single day to get this tight schedule, because they already had the release date in mind. They have this one where they convert Scaramanga's car into a plane, and they had the guy who had originally built the original car plane conversion thing back in the 1970s, and he was going to bring his thing down and they were going to fly off in that, until the guy crashed it before the filming. So they couldn't do that anymore. So their special effects people had to build a car with wings on it, and then they made the little models up, and the little models were the ones that you see flying off. They didn't have a lot of time to do that. Man with the Golden Gun was also the last time that Harry Saltzman and Broccoli worked together on a film. After that, Harry Saltzman left. He was, for whatever reason, he left, and so Broccoli then took over. So the movie I am watching tonight, which is The Spy Who Loves Me, is the first one that Broccoli did by himself. But there was a bonus in the special features, because there was another documentary there called 00 Stuntman. And I thought, oh, this is going to be good. It was all of the stuntmen who were still around and available to do the interviews talked about all the times that they were on the Bond movies. They talked about stuntmen who are no longer with us that had worked on the Bond movies and some of the stunts that they did, and about their history with James Bond. It was just amazing hearing about the details on who did what stunt and how it was done, and who impersonated James Bond in a particular scene to do a stunt and all of this, and how much of the work the actors did themselves. So it was kind of very interesting to hear. And they did. They covered all the James Bond movies from Dr. No through to number 19, which was The World Is Not Enough. No, Die Another Day. Somewhere around here is my list. My table got a little messy tonight because I had to quickly stack up everything because I was cooking, and I needed my table space. I think it was World Is Not Enough. It was up to movie number 19. I think that's World Is Not Enough. Oh, hang on. We are here. Yes, The World Is Not Enough was number 19. So they covered all the movies from Dr. No up to World Is Not Enough, with all the stunts that were covered. They were interviewing the actual stuntman who had done the stunts, all the stuntmen who knew the stuntman that had worked on that case if that stuntman was no longer with us. So it was a really cool bonus. So tonight I'm going to go finish watching The Spy Who Loves Me, and then it's just a little bit of cleanup for tomorrow. And tomorrow I leave Arizona. So I did get to put my sticker on my map, which I will show you. I'll post a picture of it later on, but my Arizona state is now filled in on my outline map of the US. So I basically have all the western states locked in now, except for Alaska. That's going to be a very special trip when I go to do that one. I may actually do that as they actually have RV tours where you get together in your RVs and you actually form a caravan and go around touring, and they have all the campgrounds booked out and all of that sort of stuff. So they've got ones that go up into Alaska, and then they have ones that go up into Canada, and they'll go to Calgary for the Stampede and that sort of thing. And I'm like, I want to go to the Stampede. That's on my list. I want to go do the Stampede. So I'm definitely going to be looking at that one. Maybe not next year, but the following, because there's so much. It's so much fun. So yeah, so that's it from me for tonight. That's it from me from Arizona. So I love my hat. I've been wearing it a lot too, so it's growing on me a little bit. So that's it from me from Arizona. Tomorrow I will be in Palm Springs, near the Joshua Tree Park. So I will be able to tell you about my road trip tomorrow. And what's the movie tomorrow? Will be Moonraker. So this is one where they bring back Jaws. So we meet Jaws tonight in The Spy Who Loved Me, and they actually got such a really good response to him as a villain that they brought him back for Moonraker. So Moonraker, a lot of people don't like Moonraker, but I gotta watch it again. It's been a while. I can't remember. So from Arizona, it is Hekonera. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, have a super fantastic sparkling evening.